All right, so yeah, today we're going to be putting everything that we've talked about before together, just like a recap of everything since it has been long, almost like how many months now that we've had the class. So we just used today to put everything together or to go over everything that we've talked about there. And we're going to be building something like this. It's just a simple web application there like that, and we're going to be using React because we are learning React. So we don't want to do something that is really big, just to go over what we've talked about. So we just want to use it to talk about what is components, what is props, what is children prop. At the same time, we want to use to talk about states by using the use state, and at the same time use it for the events in the JavaScript or in React there, and at the same time you can style your page like that. So we're going to be using this to put everything together, and the game is going to be something like this, even though it's not going to be exactly like this because some things are going to change, but it's going to look, or this is what we are trying to do, where we have the name of the application at the top. Then after that, we're going to be having the name of the color, or the color code is going to follow this line. Then it's now left for the user to click on any of this color that matches the code, and if you click on the one that matches the code, we have the message pop out here that you get it right, and the message or if the color that you pick is wrong, then another message is going to come and say that the what you pick is wrong, and again a button is going to pop out for them to either start the game again or just leave it like that. Or instead of us popping out the error message here, we can just make it like overlay where we give them the message, and once you click on start again, then it will regenerate everything for the user there like that. So how can we do this? So the UI is going to look something similar to this, but we're going to be changing some stuff from there. So this name will remain the same, but down here it's not going to be like this. So instead of this one easy and add, we're going to have level, where we're going to have the drop down, and the user can pick from that drop down from level 1 to level 3 there, and based on the level you click on, then it's going to generate the button that is corresponding to that. So for level 1 is going to be 6 button like this. So for level 2 is going to be 9 button. Then for level 3, then it's going to be 12 buttons like that. And based on the number of the level of items you pick there, then this thing is going to arrange them according to the way we want. So if it is level 1, then it's going to be 3 per line. If it is level 2, it's going to be 3 per line. But once you level 4 or level 3 there like that, so level 1 is going to be 3 per line, level 2 3 per line because 9, so that is going to make it easier to arrange. But once it's enter level 3, then that means it is 12. So instead of us arranging in 3 we're going to arrange it 4 so that the line will still be 3 like that. But how can we do that? We're going to put everything together so that we can condition our CSS based on the level and so forth like that. So we're going to put everything together. And in order for you to do that, you need to set up your project, which is something I already have here like that, which is this. Let me close all this other one that I don't need right now. So under the project, we have this color game, and I'm currently inside that. I'm not in the folder, in the terminal, because you need to be inside that folder before you can set up your project there, since we are going to be using Vite to set up our project. And you know that in order for you to go into any folder, you just need to use CD, and if you don't know the name of the folder, you can use ls to know what is going on with this your current working directory or current folder. And currently here I have 3 things under this folder, and as you can see, we need to be inside the React folder there like that. So in order for me to go there, so I can just clear my terminal, then CD like that. So React, I know that under the React I have a project, because you can see the folder structure here. So inside React we have project, and inside project we have the color game, so that we can get to the folder where we want to work on this. And we have this color game, and this thing is going to change our current directory, which means I type nonsense here. Instead of me to type React, I just type rats, so which is wrong. So something is wrong with this name, which make this keyboard is doing nonsense. So let me type the correct folder like that, and once this thing get there, it should change our folder to the one we want. And as you can see right now, we're inside the color game folder. So let me clear again so that we have enough screen to work with. So the next thing we need to do here is to install Vite, or to install our React project inside this folder. And you know, when you want to create your application, you need to use Vite by using npm. And you know, before you can use npm, you need to have a Node installed. And once you have Node installed and you type node v, this should give us the version of the node there. And currently I have version 20 point something there like that. So this is still going to work. So what we just need to use here is this npm create Vite app like that at latest, and this one is going to install the Vite for us, so that we can follow the prompts and select the framework or the library we want to use there, because these Vite there like that make it easier. Or did I type the correct stuff? So everything I'm typing, it's coming from their site, which we can just go there like that. So Vite like that. So Vite.js. So once you type it to your browser like that, so it is this vite.dev, and once you go to their site, you are going to see all the necessary commands that you need to have, so you can use it to build any or to incorporate any framework into your project. And currently there like that, it supports React, it supports Vue.js, it supports Angular, and so forth like that, depending on the framework you want it to use. As you can see, you can use it for any of these projects, but we want to only use it for React there like that. And once we scroll down, it's going to show us the command that we can use to bootstrap any of the application. And as you can see, this is what I want like that. So let me just copy the command, then go back into the terminal like that, then paste what I have there. So press enter, and this is going to bootstrap the Vite for us. And from there, we'll go through the process of you know, picking the framework or the library that we want to use. And once we are done, it will put all the necessary file that needs to be inside this folder. And from there, we can start working on our application there like that. So let me wait for it, and once it's done, we'll resume the recording back. Yeah, so what you just need to do here is to press Y, then press enter. It's going to install the Vite, and once it's done installing Vite, and as you can see right now, it's telling me the node I have is really small compared to the one you want to use. So sometimes you might need to upgrade your node there like that. As you can see, the Create Vite 8, it requires this version and above 20.19, but currently I have 20.10 again too, or this one. So it should still work. Let's see. But if it's not, then I have to change my node, because here I have the node manager there that I can use to switch to any node that I want at a time. But from your side, and as you can see, yeah, it's working. So it's asking for the project name. Since I want to use the same current folder there like that, so I'm going to use the dots, so which means the same folder. But if you want to put another, because if any name you put here, it's going to create that folder under the current folder you're working on. Assuming we're on that project and we don't really have this color game, we can actually type it from here and it's going to create it for us. But since I already have the folder already and I'm there, so what I just need to do is to use dots. And don't forget, dot slash means the current folder, dot slash means the previous folder, and so forth like that. And as you can see here, we need to pick the library or the framework we want to use. So I'm going to go with the React by using up and down arrow to pick whatever the framework that you want there like that. So again, do we want to use TypeScript? So we are not dealing with any TypeScript right now, so we are going to go with normal JavaScript. Again, there's a new addition to React now, which is the React compiler. We're not going to be using this one, and again, we're not going to be using other framework. We just want to do simple stuff right now, so we are going to go with the normal JavaScript like that. Again, do you want to use the Rodan? These are just a way of fast tracking your development build and a lot of them like that. So I'm going to go with no right now. Install with npm, yes, because that's what I have right now. So we press enter, and as you can see, it's going to create all the necessary folder and the file that we need in order for us to start our application. As you can see, it's installing all the dependency already. And what is dependency? We've talked about all these things before we start our React. So which is what are the library you're using in your project? So those are the dependencies, because your project is depending on those library before it can function like that. But we have two types of dependency. So we have the normal dependency, which means it can work both on dev and any other environment, and we have the dev dependency. So all this one now, when you want to build your application for production, that means for use so that people can start using it, all these dependencies there, they are not needed. They are only needed for you to develop your application. The only dependencies that you need right now is just React and the React DOM. These are the only two dependencies that you need, and these are the only thing is going to install when you are dealing with production installation of your project like that, or when you want to do it. This is what is just need. Every other thing here, they are just for the developer experience, for your own experience, so that it make it easier when you are developing your application. But it's going to install everything because we need them depending on the network like that. So it's going to download everything that we have here, and it's going to create a folder here known as node modules, where all the packages that is going to be installed are going to place there, because each of these packages here too, they are depending on another library and so forth like that. So
hello, your screen is not showing anymore.
I guess it's the network because I'm installing this thing. So let me see. Let me stop sharing and try to share it again, but the stuff is going to be in the video anyway. Let me share these things. There's always a problem with, I don't know, this glow. Let me see.
Yeah, it's coming up now.
Yeah, let's wait for it. So let me pause the video while that stuff is still loading. All right, so as you can see, everything is done installing. We will have the node modules folder with a bunch of packages that we did not even ask for, but because some of the tooling or the packages we are using, they are depending on them, so everything has been installed. That's the advantage of the node manager there like that. As you can see, it's asking me to upgrade my node because as you can see, it breaks because the node I have right now, it's quite small to what version is requesting for. As you can see, the bits that I want to use require node 20.19, but currently I have a 20.10, so I need to upgrade there in order for it to work. That's why it failed like that, because some stuff it is using in those versions might not be available in the version that I have currently. But I have something known as a MVM, which is node version manager. So this is like npm manages all your packages. So this one manages all the node that I have on my system, because I can have different version of node on my system like that. So I don't need to just have only one version, but you don't need all this one, because I work with a lot of projects, and each project demand for whatever version they want like that. But for your own, since you are just starting now, you don't need to start managing your node. You can just have the latest installed on your system, and you just work with it. But for me, I work with different projects that need different version of the node, so I need to be able to switch to any one of them that I need at a particular time. So I need this. I have this MVM that I use to manage all the node version that I want on my system.
Sorry, one question, please.
Yes.
So you're talking about the node that I can just install the latest one.
Yes.
But what if maybe I want to do something and is requiring another?
That's what
lesser.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever you are going to be doing now, since you are doing training, there's no way. Since you are going to be installing different things for each one of them, so there's no way they are going to be like that. But to get to a point, you need something like this. But for now, you always go with the latest version. Once you have latest version, it will always work. But there is a project that I worked on that they are really really like almost like 2 years or 3 years. So those are the kind of stuff. But now, are you going to be working on something that is 3 years or 4 years? No. So you always work with the current, and all the current stuff will go with the latest stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to use npm or nvm install LTS. LTS is just mean long time support, so it's going to install the latest long time support for the node like that. So it will search for it, and I need to install, or if I want to install any version, I just need to mention it in front of it instead of LTS, and it's going to install it for me. As you can see right now, it's downloading. The LTS right now is 22.20, which is a bit higher than the one that one is asking for, but it should work since it's bigger than that one like that. So let me wait for it, and once it's done, we start the server once again, and it shouldn't be asking me for anything like that. But I need to switch. Yeah, so it's done. That's download the stuff. It's extracting the node and npm, because each version of node come with their own version of npm there like that. And once it's done extracting them, yeah, so let me wait for it. So now what I just need to do is to switch to the stuff, because it's not still using it. So if you type node v, it will still be seeing the old one, because it has not yet switched. So what nvm is, as you can see, is still 20.10. so in order for me to switch, I just need to use nvm use then the version that I want. So 22.20.0 like that, and it's going to switch to this one. And once it's done switching, once I use node v next time, then it's going to be seeing this one as the correct installation there like that. It will not remove the other one, it will just make sure that they are not there. So yeah, so let me wait for it, because it requires administrator privilege before you can do some stuff. So yeah, so now using like that. So let me clear the terminal. So node v like that. Now it should be 22.20.0. yeah, no, it has not switched. Yeah, because I need to stop this terminal, because this is what I used to change it. So I need to restart the terminal like that. So let me delete it and start it again, because you need to start this terminal again before you can see the new changes like that. So it's loading. Let me wait for it, and once this one is done loading, bash come outside. What's taking you time to load? Once it's done, then we can start. Yeah, so now let me try it again. Node v like that. Since this is a new terminal, it does not switch. Let me exit the VS Code. Let me exit everything, because let me even check, does it switch it? So let me check the git bash. So let me use this one to check it, because window too slow. All right, so open the git bash. So you are going to have access to this once you install git. Have we talked about git before? I think so.
No.
Okay, we're going to talk about it in the next class, because it's very important, because you need to be able to do versioning with your code. So node v, let me check it from here. Has it switched? It has not yet switched. Then it will not work like this. I need to run this in as administrator before it can work. I think that's the reason why that one was not be able to have access to it, because before you can switch, you need to have administrator power. Git bash. So right click, then run as administrator, so that you have the power. Yes, all right, should have the system power now to change anything. Yeah, so what I need to do now is to do my nvm use 22.20.0. What's wrong with this thing? Still not change. Hey, Oh, so let me use CMG as the thing is requesting from. Oh, I need to run it as administrator. Okay, let me see. MVM use 22.20.0. Yes, need administrator rights. So now I'm using 22. Exit. Let me see if it works. So node V. It's still not changed. Because this thing I have to change without it. Alright, so since the stuff has switched to the node 22, so what we just need to do is to start our server. So how do you start the server? So for development server, we need to run the scripts. So how do you run any of the scripts? You can use your npm run, and whatever stuff you pass here, it's going to be based on the scripts you have here. So if you type preview, then it's going to perform action here. If you type links, then it's going to perform what we have here. If you want to build, you just need npm run build, then it's going to run this binary for us, or that command. Then the one we need is the dev, so that we can run our dev server, so that anytime we make changes, it's going to restart or rebuild the application and send the changes to the browser there like that. So npm run dev. Once everything is done installing, and what's the problem again? Could not read package.json. Yeah, because I'm inside the wrong folder. As you can see, our project is under color game, but currently I did not switch to that. So let me switch. So cd react, then project, then color game like that. And once it's done, then I can run the npm run dev once again like that, and this should work once you enter that folder, because you need to enter the correct folder before you can run the scripts. All right, so let's wait for it. Now it should see package.json, because package.json is here, but the folder where it's checking, yeah, so running our application. Let's wait for it, the vits to start, then create the server for us, and that server should be 5173. Yeah, so 5173, it's running already. And in order for us to see what is going on, we just need to go to the browser. So localhost 5173 like that, and we should see the basic startup application there coming up from Vite. So like that, but we need to clean up. We need to do some cleanup. Why is it taking time? It's not supposed to take time like this, but we need to do some cleanup by removing what we don't want. I thought, yeah, so we have this, so we need to do some cleanup, because anytime installed is going to come with this pre data like that. So under our package, as you can see, we have this app.jsx, app.css. Right now I don't need this app.css like that, so I'm going to delete it, but it's going to cause problem because it's being used here like that. So since it's being used here, I'm going to remove it like that. So, and once the stuff is removed, again, all these unnecessary stuff that is here, I'm going to remove all of them. This state too, right now, I'm going to remove it. Everything that we have here, I'm going to remove all of them. So I'm going to remove everything that we have here, because we don't need it. And I will just say that color game like this for now. So save, and once this is saved and I did get to the page, we should just see only that part alone like that. Yeah, so as you can see, color game again, all these other css that is here, I don't need them. So I'm going to go into the css file like this. So I'm going to leave only these other ones, so leave everything here. So I'm going to delete this right now again, yeah, because I don't want it to be using that color. I want to do all the color myself. Again, for this one, I'm going to do this one, because I don't want it like that. Every other element on the page too, I'm going to delete them, except this body too. I'm going to delete what they have. Okay, This width, I'm going to delete it like that. Every other thing too, I'm going to delete it. And we do our normal stuff. So margin to be 0. The padding, but I don't want it to be like this, so I'm going to delete this from here. So we are dealing with our normal HTML, CSS, and setup. So padding should be 0, M should be 0, then the box sizing should be sizing. These are just normal stuff we normally do. So border box like that. So these are the basic stuff that you can do. Again, the font family, I'm going to move it up into this so that it applies to everything we have on the page like that. Every other thing like this can stay the way they are like that. So the minimum height for this one is going to be 100% like that. So let me just save everything, then go back to the page. It should go back to the so everything should just go back to this normal setting. Then we can start building whatever we want to build. And what are we trying to build here? Like that. So what we are trying to build, let me remove all this one that I don't need right now. So what we are trying to build is this is another one, but this one is complex right now, so we don't need that. So this is what we are trying to do. So, and how do we set up all these things so we can create all the necessary stuff that we need? So if you look at it, this is our main app. So we're going to have this our main app. And inside the main app, we are going to create a component for the header. So we're going to create header component like that. So inside the header component, that's the one that is going to manage everything that we want. So it's going to display the application. Again, apart from that, we are going to have another component which is going to be the color box. So we're going to call it the color box like that. And again, another component which is going to be the color button. So this is color button, this is the color box which is going to display them inside the header there like that. Inside the header, we're going to have the select here, where the user can select the level. We're going to have the title at the top, and we're going to have the color that is being generated for the user. And all these things are going to be coupled together, and they are going to be used inside this our main app. So which means there we need to have all the necessary component that we have. So because of that, I'm going to be creating a folder here known as components like this, and inside this place is where we're going to put all the necessary component. It's not a must that we do it like this. You can just put everything inside one file, but I just want to separate them like that. I can put everything inside this single app because what we are working on is not that complex. It's not something that we are reusing a lot of them, except the buttons that is going to be reusable there like that. So but I'm going to separate them so that it looks like we are trying to build something big like that, but it's not a must that you do it in this way. So the first thing we're going to have is the header like this, which is going to be JSX like that, because it's going to be a React. So and if you have the necessary extension installed, once you use the RAFC like this, it's going to generate a React component for you, which I'm going to call is a header like this. And the extension that you need in order for you to be able to do that is known as this React snippets like that. So let me scroll down. As you can see, ES7 plus React Redux, whatever. So this extension needs to have installed so that you can have the goodies of what I just did right now. This one is not needed like that. So instead of you typing all this in yourself, you can just type RAFC to generate a React functional component like that with the arrow function that you are seeing right now. Is going to generate it for you. There's a lot of other goodies there too, but this is the one I need right now. So I'm going to change the element from that to header. So now we need to use it on our page. So in order for us to do it, we just need to import it at this side. So this side here, I'm going to be having the header. So how do we call it? We just need to call our component. As you can see, it's coming from there like that. So this is how you call a component like that. So we are rendering a component, and you can render multiple of them like this, and it's going to put the content on the page. But we only need one of it there like that. As you can see, we now have 3 of it, so which means we can reuse it anywhere we need it. But right now we only need 1 of it. So after the header, what else do we said we need? As you can see, we need this color box. So this colors box is the one that is going to hold different color button. So we need another component here. So that one is going to be the color box like this, JSX, like that. So RAFCE, and this one is going to receive some props, some item later on. Then based on that, it will render the button we want to display inside it. So after this, we're going to have the color box like this. There's some props we need to pass down to it later on, but for now we just leave it like this. And inside this color box, that's where we're going to be using all our color buttons. So we have the color button like this .jsx. So this is the each one of the button that we're going to be having there like that. All this thing we don't need to separate them, but we are trying to mimic a real world application like that. So let me save everything. So go to file, save all, so that it saves everything like that. And inside this place, I'm going to be doing some stuff later on. What's wrong with this VS Code? I save everything. Why is this one not saved? Save all like that. So going back to the page, we should have our header and the color box like that. But there's a problem. The way I'm naming this file is the same way I want to name all this one. So I want everything to be small letter. So colors box like this. Since it's going to be multiple colors, so I'm going to change it to that. And for this one, let me rename it. It's not a mod, but I'm using this like this, so button, because I want everything to be the same. So we're just following the same pattern. Since this one is small letter, every other thing should be small letter too. Again, change the name here to colors, not button. So it should be color box. But what am I doing here? Something is wrong. What's wrong with this VS Code? I've renamed this thing wrongly. The rename is wrong. But let me change them. So this one should be, so the rename is wrong. The rename is wrong. I've renamed them wrongly. So this one should be the color button like this. And for this one is going to be the colors box. So this is color box. Let me save everything once again. So save all, and everything should still be working. Since I'm using VS Code, as you can see, it has updated the import there like that. So if you change the file name, whatever you import it, it will update it for you automatically. You don't need to be doing that. So going back to the page, we should still have everything, but I'm not having everything again. So this is wrong. So this one should be colors box like that. So this is where it's supposed to come from, like that. And save. As you can see, we have our color box. So what do we need to do now? Let's start with the header section. So let's go inside the header and we can build the necessary stuff we need to build. So inside this header, what do we need to have? We need to have the H1, which is going to be the title of this our application. And if you look at it right now, what we're trying to do is going to have this title, which is RGB guessing game like that. So RGB guessing game, that's what we're going to call it too, like this. So RGB guessing game like that. And after this one, I'm going to have the H4. So inside this H4, this is where we are going to have the RGB code, and the RGB code is going to be this pattern XXX, YYY, and ZZZ here. But all this value here is going to be generated by the computer for us later on. So that's why I'm representing that XXX, YYY, and this ZZZ here. So we're going to be replacing them later on with the value that we're going to be getting from here. So we're going to have a state here that have the color based on whatever the computer pick once the game starts there like that. So once the game starts, this thing is going to generate some random color for us, and we can replace it later on like that. And we need to pass it down as a props down into what we have down here. But first, let's finish with the UI first before we start adding the functionality like that. Then after this one, we need to specify the level. No, we need to have the select like that. And under this select, we're going to be having different level under our option like that. So for this one, which is level 1, so whatever value you pass here, That's the number of buttons we want to generate, and this is what is going to be there by default. So this is level 1. So when you go to level 2, just like what I mentioned, we are going to have 9 buttons like that. And when you go to level 3, that means we are going to be generating 12 buttons like that. So let me save the code. Going to the page, we should have just all these items layout like that, but we need to make sure they are properly styled. So for this header, we need to make sure that it is styled the way it's supposed to be. So I'm going to move this thing down so that we can have them side by side. So this is what we have currently like that, but we want the header section to be something like this. So I'm going to go back into the CSS file. Every other our CSS, they are going to be inside this place like that. So you know, some basic stuff you need to do. So we need to have the width to be 100% because we want this stuff to cover up the entire stuff. The minimum height is there. Overflow X should be hidden because we don't want anything to go on the x-axis like that to start moving left and right. On your page, you don't want people to be moving left and right. So I think we need to apply some background color, so which I'm going to use that same black, but my black is not going to be totally black. It's going to be of black like that. Once this thing is done loading, it should appear on the screen, and because I'm recording, that's why VS Code is slowing down like this. So I don't want to use this black. I want to use something close to this side like that. So save. Again, there's some colors we need to or there's some color we need, but I don't think I need to do too much. So inside the header, in order for us to see what is going on, it's better we put this thing side by side. So let me close my sidebar like this, and let me reduce the size because it's better we see what is going on. And again, let me move this thing to this side. So let me scale it a bit like that. Yeah, so put this one to this side. So we need to work on this header section. So let me go to the page, and as you can see, we already have all these items like that. So inside our header, we need to display it as a flex like this. So flex direction is going to be column because I need to put them on top of each other. Then the gap is going to be around that 1 rem. The background is going to be blue, but not this kind of a blue. So I need to change this blue too because this is pure blue, and I don't like pure blue because it's having a lot of contrast. Again, the color is going to be white. The recording is making this thing to slow down. Once it's done, it should get to the page there like that, as you can see. But I don't like this blue, so I'm going to change it to something or somewhere around the side here. So I'm going to switch it to that so that it looks like what we are trying to do. I think it's too dark. It's kind of close to darkness like that. So it's kind of easier to work with HSL because, as you can see, the number is small here, so I can take it to around that 45. So the closer you are, when you are above 50, you are going to the white. When you are below 50, you are going to the dark area. So it's still dark, but it's close to halfway, which is 40, because 50 is just halfway like that. So yeah, I think this is okay. So what we need to do now is to apply our padding, which is going to be around this 1 rem like that. So I need to move everything to center like that. So text align is going to be center. So justify all these things. So it's something we've talked about before. So CSS is not, it's going to be center. Align items is going to be center like this, and once you get to the page, everything should be center like that. So everything should be center. It's going to make sure that all these things are center, but I might need to make sure that this one just full the page like that. But right now we don't really care. So inside this header, I have a H1 like that. So the font size, the game name is not the highest of here. So the font size is going to be 1.25 rem for this, which is going to reduce that. Then inside the header we have H. What did I use there for this? So I use H4, but I'm going to be using H2 for 8. So H2. Then this one is going to have font size of 2 rem. So which is this? The major color stuff, because that's the major thing the user wants to see, like that. So once this thing is installed, or once this thing is done, it should display everything. So let me save all once again. Why is it taking time to send them? What's wrong with VS Code? I need to be saving twice. Yeah, so as you can see now, I have them. So like that. But I think this gap of 1 rem is really much, like that. So let just use 0.5. We are not after the design right now, so it's just to again not padding, I'm talking about gap. So it should be 0.5 like this, which is going to reduce the space in between them, like that. So inside the header we have the select. We don't need to do too much with this. So the background is going to be white like this. The border is going to be none, or I can just say 1 pixels. The solid transparent like this, so I don't want to see any border around it, like that. Again, I need to apply some padding. So top and bottom 0.75 rem, or yeah, 0.75 rem. Left and right 0.625 rem, which is 10 pixels. Like that. It's just going to add. Again, we need to use border radius like this, which is going to be 0.5 rem, but I think this left and right is too small, so let me just use 1 rem for left and right, so that we have enough padding on left and right, and we should have it like this. So I think 1 rem should be okay too for the radius, like that. So we have the level, and they can pick any of the level they want to play, and once they change the level, the game is going to restart again, like that. So we have this select. So what do we need to do now? We are technically done with the header part, so we need to work on this section, the other section there, like that, which is this color box. So for this color box there, I'm going to give it a class so that it will be easier to select, or instead of giving it a class, I'm going to use section, since it's going to be only one section on this page, so it's easier to select from CSS there, like that. So I'm going to select my section, and by default it's going to be displayed as grid, or it's always going to be displayed as grid, like this, or not select, this is wrong, section like this. So when the section is displayed, not flex, what's wrong with all this thing? So it's going to be grid, like that, and by default the grid template columns. Now I told you when the level is level 1 to 2, by default is going to be 3 per line, like that. So it's going to be 3 per line for each one of the button that is going to be there. But once we have this section, anytime there is a class grid 4 like that on it, what it's going to do is to switch the templates to 4. So grid template columns like this, columns, then it's going to be repeat. VS Code is going to be repeat 4 1 fr like this. So anytime there is a class grid 4 on it, it will show 4, but by default it will assume 3. So which means when you're in level 1, so level 2, all those one, this is 6, this is 9, 3 per line. But once you go to this level, that's 12. So instead of it to be 3 per line, it will be 4 per line there, like that. And once it's going to be inside, what we are just going to do here is to generate some random color. So yeah, we need to call that our color button now. So this color button, we are going to render it multiple times based on the game level. But right now, I'm just going to render it like that, and it's not working again. Why is it not working? Because I did not import it. So I'm using it, but it's not imported. That's once you don't see anything on the screen, this thing is telling you there's an error. So if you go to your terminal there or the console, you see the error, and the reason why it's like that is because this thing is not imported like that. So let me import it and let me save, and if everything is working, as you can see, it's done back because we've imported the necessary stuff. So now we can go into our color button. This one too is not going to be div, it's just going to be button, and inside this button nothing will be inside because it's just going to be background there based on what we are trying to build. If you look at it, it's just going to be normal button. You can style it anyhow you want, like that. And as you can see, all the buttons, they are here already. So they are here, but it's not arranged properly yet, like that. So in order for it to be arranged properly, we need to go into our CSS. So this one, I need padding on it because everything just jam packed together. So let me use padding 1 rem so that we can have the space around the box, like that, as you can see. So these are the buttons. What do we need to do? I need to give it a gap too because the buttons are just jam packed together. So each one of them should have a space of 1 rem around them, like that, as you can see. So when it is normal section, it's going to be 33 per line, but anytime you have this grid 4, you see that it's going to switch to 4, like that. And we're going to be doing that using the class. And you know, when you want to apply class on any of your element, you have to use class name in React there, like that. So, and again, since we are going to be passing this in dynamically later on, whether it's going to be there or not, so I'm going to add this one down for now. So what I just need to do is just to pass the grid. So we're going to be adding it dynamically later on. So grid 4 like this. So if I save it, and as you can see, it's going to display 4 like that. But it only do that when we're on level 3. Level 1 and 2, they are always going to be 3. But this one will be added dynamically later on based on the level they are working on. So I will just leave it like this for now, like that. So the button will be 3 like that. So again, to all this button that's going to be inside this box will be based on the level we are playing there. And how do you know the level? So we need to have a state that is keeping tracking of the current level you are working on. So for example, here I'm going to create a state for game level, like that, and we're going to have set game level, which is going to be our setter, and this is going to be use state, and by default, you know, is going to be level 1. Or if you don't want it to be this way, you can just pass the number of button you want to generate. But we're not going to be doing that here. We're going to be doing that inside the color box itself, like that. So it's one that's going to handle based on the level you have here. So if the level is 1, it knows the number of buttons to generate. If the button is 2, it knows the number of buttons to generate. And if it's 3, or instead of us doing like that, we can actually follow what we have inside this our header, because we are not passing the number, we are passing the number of what we want to generate. So instead of me doing like this, so let me just pass this 6 like that. So it's not going to be game level again. What we can just call it yeah, so let me just should I call it this 6? Yeah, so let me just leave it like this. So this is going to be the game level, like that. So even though the number are not correct, because when it just is level 1, level 2, but yeah, for 1 we are using 6 to represent it, like that. So I will just leave it like this for now, but this naming is not really right now. So what we need to do now is to send this our game level down into this our color here. So we need to send it down. We're going to send it to the header too later on, but right now we need to send it down to this color box, which is the props. And you know, that's what we call props here. So you need to send down the details into this in. And how do we send it? So send down any property down into your component. Just pass the name of the property you want, like that, and you pass the value. So the name doesn't need to be the same thing. If you want, you can just call it one count, like this. So this is going to be count, like that, but we are passing it as this one. So this one will receive count based on whatever we have here. But most of the time, you always see people using the same name like that, but it's not a must that you use the same name. And in this, so I can save this one now, like that, and we can go inside this color box so we can receive whatever props. So to receive the props, like that, is going to be sent down to you in your function or the component as these props. And under these props, you are going to see everything that is being sent down to you, like that. But instead of us receiving everything, I can just destructure it directly like this. So which means out of all the props that will be coming in on, I only care about this game level, like that. And based on this game level, we want to create array of values there, like that. We want to create array of values, and luckily for us these days, it's something you can actually do yourself, like that. So to create array of value based on the number So let me bring out the terminal so that you can see what I want to do right now. And again, AI is there for you. It's not every time that you need to start doing all this trivia stuff yourself. So you can quickly go to any of the AI or just put it on Google there like that. So what you can just do is create array in JavaScript like that, based on the count like this, and it's going to generate the stuff for you. But if I want to do it, what I can just do here is that for example, I want to create array now. We can just do new array like this, and inside this array you pass the number of items you want. So if you pass one number, as you can see, it's going to generate array of 5 items, but nothing is inside it. As you can see, it's empty. So what you can do here is now to fill the stuff with whatever you want like this. So I'm filling everything. So it's generating 5 items, but it's filling them with this 0. This 0 now, what I can just do is to map through it. So what I can now do it, map through the stuff like that, because I already have 5 items, because I want to have 5 buttons. So map through it, and based on that, just return your button, and React is going to display the button for you, not the actual value that you have here like that. So this is one way of doing it. There's other way of doing it. You can just put it online, and you are going to see different methods that you can use like that. As you can see, you can do something like this, and it's going to return. This is another method like that, but I'm going to be using my own simple method like that. What do we want to do here? Based on the level, we generate array, then we fill it, because if you don't fill it, it's going to be empty. If you don't fill it, it's going to be empty. Anytime you generate a new array, it's always empty. It will generate the length, but nothing will be inside. So, and you need to put something inside it. So in order for you to put something, we can use this fill. What fill we do is that based on the number of items you have there, it will fill all of them with that particular value. We don't really care about the value. What we care about is just to map through the total number, then return a list there, because we are trying to do list rendering. And if you remember, when we are talking about list rendering, you have a list of items. So you have list of items, then you want to iterate this list. Then from there, when you want to iterate the stuff, or let's just say our buttons like this. So in order for us to iterate through the stuff, what do we need to do? We need to open this so that we can do our GSX expression. This is your GSX element there like that, and here we need to do some expression. And in order for you to do expression, you need to use the GSX expression. And inside this curly brace, whatever you are doing here is all about GSX expression, which is just normal JavaScript code. And whatever you are doing here, it needs to return a value, because whatever value you return here, that's what React is going to display on the screen. For example, if I do 2 plus 2 like this, and that's what React is going to show on the screen like that, which is 4. So after it evaluate everything, is return the result. That's the expression. Expression will evaluate and return the result, and that result is what React will display on the screen. And I've told you different value that React can display on the screen and the one it cannot display on the screen. So in order for you to render list, what we just need to do is to go over it by just doing buttons, then we map through it, and whatever you return from here, that's what React is going to render. So we need to return something, and what are we returning? We're returning our color buttons here like that. So it's going to return color buttons based on the number of items we have here. And once I save this in, we're not going to see anything on the screen again, because the array is empty, and that's the reason why we need this line. So we need this line so that we can generate the number of items we want based on the game level. So yeah, we just need to use new array like this, and we pass the game level into it, and we fill everything with 0 like that. So once we fill this in with 0, then it's going to have this total number of items. Then this map now will go over each one of them and return a new array, and the new array is going to return all this color button. But this thing is going to cause something that we're supposed to do. As you can see, is going to bring out this error, which is something I've told you before. When you're rendering a list, you should always give it a key, so that React will differentiate between one color button from the other one like that. So I don't really have ID right now, so what I'm just going to do is to receive the index. As you can see, it's going to give you the value, which is this 00. We cannot use it because it's the same value. The index should always be unique, and since the index here, we know that it's only going to be unique for what we want to do right now, then we can use it, even though it's not right. But I'm just going to use it because the index can change later on. Because if this game level change, if the array before is 10 or if it is 6, it can change to 9, and the ID you have before might not be the same thing for what you have right now, even though we are going to be regenerating some later on. But for now, let's just pass the index, but it's not ID that you use the index for key if it's something that is going to be changing there like that. So you should always avoid this. But the value we have right now is not unique because the value we are filling is just 0 for everything, so we can't use that one too, and that's the reason why I'm using this. And once I save it now and go back to the page, as you can see, it's going to generate the number that we have there like that. So now if I go back into the app and I update this thing to maybe 9 like that, save, go to the page, and once it's done, as you can see, it will add 9 to it. But we don't want to be changing it manually like this. So we don't want to be changing it manually. We want it to depend on this level here. So once you click on any of this item here, based on the value that is there, we want to change it there like that. So which means this set level, we want to update it here. So we want to update this set level, and again we need to send the game level down here because whatever we do here, it should be able to pick it up. So now look at it, I change it to 12, but after saving the code, you see that it's still showing level 1 here, but rather it's supposed to be showing level 3, and it's because they are not connected together. So in order for this thing to work, we need to send all this thing down to this header so that they can do whatever they need to do there. But I'm going to be creating a function here, and this function I'm going to send out. So const like this, so change game level like this level. So what it's going to be doing is that it's going to receive the level from you, and whatever level you pass into it, it's just going to set this set game. It's not a must that you create another function like this. You can just pass this set directly and it's still going to work, but I only love to do it in this way. In case I change the name later on, I know that I will only change it from here. I don't need to start going down. So here now, I'm going to send this thing down, and this header can use it because select needs it, and at the same time too, the level itself too needs to get sent down into the component. And why do we need to send it down? So that we can sync the value here, because right now it is 12. Since it's 12, if you check the HTML code for the header there, you see that the 12 is supposed to match level 3, but right now it's showing level 1. So that's why we need to sync them together. So, and you know, when you want to sync them together, you need to pass a value, and anytime you change, you just need to call the onChange. So to sync them together, we just need to pass whatever the value that we want there. So like that. So we can pass the value here, and what is going to be the value? So we need to receive the stuff from this place. So we're going to receive the game level like that, and we're going to receive the other one, which is going to be, so let me move this thing to this side. So the other one we're going to receive there is this. So the same way you pass it, that same way you are going to receive it there like that. So what do we want to do here? So let me just paste the stuff in this way. So what I want to pass is the game level like that, and we can save the stuff. So which means whatever value that we have set there, it's going to give it to us. So what do we need to do next? What we need to do next here is to attach the change on this select. So when the select change, we want to run some code. You know, this is event here now. We are talking about event. So you know, we have different type of events you can listen for. You have on click, is on click that we are looking for. What we are looking for is on change. So this is the event you need to run when you are dealing with select. So because you can change from one option to another one, and when this thing fired, is going to call whatever function that you pass here like that. For example, right now, what I just want to do is just to do console log whatever stuff. So what's the console log? We want to receive the event or whatever stuff that happened like that, and I can just console log it out so that you see what is going on there. So let's this thing save, and once it's saved there, can you see the level is now up to date with the value there like that. So it will update the value automatically because it is sync with whatever we have in our app. So then now if I remove it, if I change it to 9 like that, it should sync everything. Can you see it has changed to level 2 because the two of them are connected. But now when you change from here, is not, as you can see, it's not updating from here. So if I change to level 3, this one is not changing because we are not setting back the value. But as you can see from the code, we've already connect what we need there, which is this change. So when anytime the value change there, or anytime you pick any of the option, it will fire this event. And as you can see, these are the event value there like that. So on it we have the target, and from this target, that's where you are going to get the value. So if you scroll down all the way to the value, you see that it's showing the value that we pick, because we are in level 2. Level 2 is 9. So if I change it now to level 1, it will fire the event again. If you go to the target and you scroll down all the way to the value, you'll see that the value now is going to be the new value. What's wrong with this thing? It's supposed to give us the new value. So it's still level 2. I changed it to level 2. Yeah. So let me change. It's level 1. Yeah. So it's not changing. Why is it not changing? It's because I did not sync them together. I did not sync them together yet. Like that. So that's why it's not changing yet. So what we just need to do is to sync the stuff. So what we can just do here is to get the const value like this. But it's bad that you be doing your changes in this place. So it's bad that you should be doing your changes in this place. So what we can just do, cut it out. We can just do on the level change like that. So you should move your JavaScript code up here. Not that you should be doing it down here. You can do it here, no problem, but your JavaScript code should always be outside here. So we can just do on level. So on level change like that. So this thing is going to receive the event that occur, which is the change event like that. So const value. So in order for you to get the value, is going to be this event, then dot target and dot value, which is what I'm showing you right now. So on each of this thing is going to give you the value like that, but something is wrong here. So let me put the const value again. The name of this my function is wrong like that. So yeah, on level change like this, are they the same thing now? So yeah, so they are the same. And what did I want to do? You can just console log whatever the value, but I don't want to console log the value. What I want to do is just to call that function, which is going to be this change game level, and it's going to be this value. But the value that is coming back is not number. As you can see, is string. So we need to convert it to number. So in order for you to convert it to number, the simple way is just by putting plus beside it. This is going to convert any string to number. We've talked about all this thing before like that. So this is just a simple way. So if you have a string of like this, is a string, not number. So in order for you to convert it to number, what's all this one? Let me clear my console. So in order for you to convert this into number, you can just put the plus beside it. As you can see, it will convert it to number. That's the simplest way of converting string to number. Or you put everything inside this function, or inside this stuff like that, inside this constructor, and it's going to do the same thing. But I'm going to be using this plus because it's kind of a easier there like that. So plus with any string that have number is going to convert it like that. But if you put it after, it will not do what. So this one is different. So if it is after, it's different from when it is before. When it is before a string, it will convert whatever you have inside it to a number if it is something that is number. But if it's not number, you see, you get. But we know that whatever we are doing here is always going to be number, because we are the one that type it. It's not coming from the user. So if you check it again, we've already passed all the necessary value. So everything here is what we'll be getting back, and they are not numbers, so we need to convert it to number. That's why I use the plus here like that. So we can save this our code like that. Everything saved. So level 1, as you can see, now the two of them are now in sync. So when we're level 1, it will generate 6 button because we've updated the value like that. So if I go to level 2, as you can see, it has changed to 9, and if I go to level 3, it has changed to this. But I told you when we're in level 3, we don't want this thing to be 3 like this. We want it to be 4 per line. So we can just go inside this place, which is inside this our color box. Don't forget we are receiving the level already. So if the level is 12, we want to add that class. But if the level is not, we don't want to add a class. So here we can create the variable here by just saying the class list like this. So the class list. So what do we want to do? So if the game level, is the same thing as 12, what do we want to do? We want to add this gap 4. But if it is not, what do we want to do? We don't want to add anything. So this class list like that, or you can name it anything you want. So I'm calling it class list, and what do I need to do? I just need to pass it here. like that. But instead of me doing it directly from this line, I can do it here too. So instead of me wasting time, I can just do the same thing here. But that one is more readable because you know what is going on. But the same thing can be done here. So if the level is the same thing as 12, we add that class. But if it is not, then we don't add anything like this. So I can save like that, then go back to the page the way I want, but it's not doing it yet like that. So let me have this and go to 3, but I'm not seeing. So let me check because I did not see anything change there like that. So can you see it's happening? But let me check. Oh, this is wrong. I think I put the wrong class. Yeah, so it's grade 4 because the thing is being added. As you can see, when you're in level 3, that class will be added, and when you remove it, as you can see, that class will disappear, whether you're in first one or second one. But once you go to the third one, you see that it's going to add a class. But I'm adding the wrong class. It's supposed to grade 4, not gap 4 that I have here. So it's supposed to be grade 4 like this. So save, and now we should have 4. As you can see, when it is level 3, it's going to be 4 per line. But once you go to other level, it's going to be 3 like this. So 4 is going to be in this way, and you can add more level. So you don't need to start changing anything from here. We can just go to our header, then add 1 level again in case we need to add it like that. So I can just add level 4. So this one is going to be of 4 like that. So this is going to be 16 instead of 12. But this one will not work again because if I go to level 4 like that, it will still be using 3, which is wrong. And why that? Because of the condition here. We are checking equality. But instead of it to be equality, we can check greater than or equals to. As long as it's greater than or equals to 12, then it should be using 4. As you can see now, it will work. So when you're in level 3, 4. But when you go to the other level like this, it's going to go with the 3 items because that one is in 3, in multiple of 3. But once we get here, we can change it to multiple of 4 because we don't need to start adding a lot of line. But this is our button. This is not the way they are supposed to be. So let's style them now. So let's style the button. So we need to style our button so that it looks nice there like that. So on mobile, it looks nice. So what we need to do now is to go to the CSS. So here inside the section, we have button there. So this button, I want them to have height of let's just say 50 pixels right now like that because I don't want them to be tiny like this. So cursor like this is going to be pointer because I want this to show that it's something that is clickable like that. So border radius, so once the browser is done, it's going to send this in VS Code that is not sending the results like that. So border radius should be this around 1 rem like that, 1 rem, which is 16 pixels. So once VS Code is done saving this thing, it should send my results to the browser because I don't know why it's not sending the results to the browser yet. Save. Yeah, as you can see, we have it there like that. So whether it's on small screen, on big screen, I think let me increase it a little bit. So maybe 70 pixels like this so that we have more height to the button. So when you're in level 1, as you can see, it will be 3 per line. Level 2, the same thing. When we get to level 3, it goes like this, and when we go to level 4, it goes like this. And again, it shows that it is something that is clickable like that. So we need to have section, button. Anytime it is over, we want to add some basic stuff on it. So we want to transform the stuff. So transform like this. I want to scale it up by 1.2. Just increase the height, but it's going to do it instantly, which is not something that I want. Like that, you can see it's too fast. This is not what I want. So I want this stuff to transition in within the number of milliseconds that I want. So yeah, we can come to the button itself and mention the transition like this. So which means, what do we want to transition? I want to transition this property, which is transform, and it's going to take 0.5 seconds to complete. And again, it is linear, which means is the way it starts, that same way it is going to be through the end within this number of milliseconds that I have there like that. As you can see now, and this 0.5 is really slow. So let me use 0.3. Let me use 0.3 so that, as you can see, it make it faster like that. And this 1.2 is really much. Let me use 1.1. So it's just to come outside a little bit And again too, I want to rotate the stuff a little or skew it a little bit. So I can just say skew like this. Let's just say 45, no, 2 degree like this. So it's just going to skew the stuff a little bit. Or let me be dramatic about the stuff. So 20 degree, as you can see, is going to skew the stuff in this way. But that is too much. So let me just use 2 degree, just a little bit skew like that. So it's just going to skew the stuff in this way. Again, what did I want to add here? I can add any other thing you want, but this is not the color that's supposed to be there. So we need to generate all the color at random. Then one of the color is going to be picked by the computer. That number will be here instead of this XXX, YYY, and this ZZ like that. So how do we generate random color? It's quite easy there like that, because in this thing you have, again, this thing is too wide. So on big screen, I don't want it to keep going wide like that. So what I can just do here, this thing should have a width of 100%. So on small screens like that, it should just be 100%, just cover up everything. Let me type this in myself. VS Code is too slow. So 100% like this, but the max width, so we are going to have max width of let's just say 500 pixels like this. So I don't want it to be more than 500 pixels. So now if this thing is saved and it's get to the browser, it's not going to be more than that again, as you can see, but I think it's too small. Let me try around this 700 like that. Yeah, but it's supposed to be at the center. So what can we do? So we need to use our MX Auto, which is a margin inline like this, auto like that, which is going to make sure that the spacing on left and right are equal, distributed like that. So instead of the space to be here, it will distribute it between the left and right spacing once the browser is once this thing, what is this saving? So once this thing is done saving the code and it send it to the browser, yeah, so it should have it. And again too, I think padding top and bottom is really small. Let me add more padding on top and bottom because it's too jam packed to that box at the top here. Yeah, so we have the button. So when you're on bigger screen, this is what we have like that. But if you have a screen less than 700, then it will make sure that it's just cover up the 100% like that. So that's what is going to, and as you can see, I did not talk about the width because the width is going to adjust automatically since we are using grid. So it's going to be reducing the width based on the available space that we have left, but the height will always be the same like that, which is the 70 pixels. And what do we want to do right now before we call it a day, because my time is fast spent, so I don't want to be console log. Whatever am I doing? This console log, let me remove it the inside this header. So I don't want to do this console log again. We just want to update the value like that. So clear the terminal. So what do we do? So we can use this math.random like this. So math.random is going to give you a randomly selected number between 0 and 1. You can only get 0 between a number between 0 and 1. You never get 0 and you never get 1, but it will give you a number between 0 and 1. So based on this, we can apply some simple maths there like that by just multiplying this random number with the highest number that you want. And since we want to deal with the RGBA color, we've talked about this in CSS. RGBA color is just a number between 0 to 255. So whatever color code you want to use is, as you can see, the color scale is between 0 to 255. So we want to generate a random number for between 0 and 255. So how do we generate that? So we can multiply this 255 by what we want. But if you do it like this, it will be giving us a number between 0 and 255. It will not include 0, so this is what it's going to give you, 0, 255. And as you can see, we are mathematicians here, so you know when it is in this kind of a bracket, it means they are not included. But you know we want to include this 255, so which means instead of us multiplying by 255, what we can do is to multiply by 256. So which means 256 will not be included, but this thing is going to be included. The 255 will be included. So it will generate a number between 0 and 255. But the number we need to, we don't need decimal point. We only need the number before the decimal point. So how do we get that? Maths again too, it comes with rand that you can use to do your normal mathematics rand. But we don't need rand because we don't want this thing to rand the numbers for us. Because now if I use rand and I have 176 like this, or for example I have 255 points, assuming you have some random number like this, and you save it as you can see, it gives us 255 because the number after the dot, they are not up to 5. But now imagine I have something like this. Can you see it rounded up? But you know your color cannot take 256, so this is going to cause problem when we are generating it and we have something like this. So how can we do it that we don't want this thing to be rounding the stuff like this? So what we can do instead of using round is to use floor. So when you use math.floor like this one doesn't care about the decimal point part. It will round everything down and only return the number before the decimal point. Every other thing will always go down. That's the floor. It will make everything go down, whether it is up to 5 or it's not up to 5. Everything will always be going down there like that. So we can use this, or we can create a function that is going to generate a random color for us like that. So what we can just do is go into the app like this, create a function, so called generate random number. So the function here, its job is just to generate a random number for you. So it will return math.floor like this. Then inside it, we are going to have math.random like this, then multiply by 256 so that it gives us what we want. So this one here is going to generate random number. It's not generating color yet. It is going to generate random number. So again, we need to add another function here, which is now going to be the generate random color. So this is the one that will now generate the actual color that we want like that. So generate random RGB, so RGB color like this. And how do you generate RGB color? See the pattern. You have RGB, then inside it you are going to have this XXX 3 number here. Again, we are going to have another 3 number here. Again, we are going to have another 3 number for the other one. And that's the reason why we have this random color here. So this function, we are going to call it 3 times for the first color. So this is the red, this is the green, and this is the blue. So inside this place, I'm going to generate. So inside this place, so const red is going to be this generate random number. So it's going to generate some random number for this red, not color, call the other one. So number again is going to do the same thing for the second one, which is that other one here. So let me move this on this side. So we just generate for the XXX like that. So for this YYY, which is green, so like that, is going to call it again. It will pick another random number between 0 and 256. Again for the other one, which is the blue. So the last one is blue like this. So once we get our random number, what we just need to do is to return the S code, or to return the format we want, which is going to be RGB like this. So the XXX now, we can replace them the way we want like that. So here we can just return. What do we need to return? We need to return our red like this. So here we need to pass in our green, and lastly comma, we need to pass in our blue. So this one, anytime we call this generate random number, it will generate random red value, random green value, and random blue value. Then from there it will construct this RGB that you see here, and from there it will return it back to whoever called this function. So if you don't forget, we need to call it how many times? We need to call it this number of level. So as you can see from this one and level 4, we need to call it this number of time. For level 1, you need to call it 6 times. For level 2, you need to call it this number of time, and so forth like that. And that's the reason why I'm creating all this function one by one. As you can see, this one we call it 3 times here. That's why I created it here. So I don't need to be recreating it again, and this. So this one too, we need to call it again and again for this number of the level game that we have like that. So anytime we call this change level, we need to rerun this code that is going to run our game, because anytime you change the level, the game should restart on itself automatically. So here we can have a function here which is going to be restart game. By default, it is going to set whatever we want there, which is what we are going to be doing in the next class. But for now, I'm just going to call this one starts. So I'm going to call it start game like this. So this function needs to be called. So this function needs to be called. And what's it going to do? The job of this function here is to get the level that we have. So the current game level is going to get it. Based on that current level, it will generate the number of colors that we want, and it's going to set it in our state. Or instead of us calling this start game like that, what I can just do here is to call the one that is going to generate colors. So I can just, let me be separating them one by one. So generate colors like this. So the job of this one is just to generate colors. But how many number of colors is it going to generate? It's going to generate the number of color based on the level we have here. So let me just set it to 6 by default, like that. So I'm going to set it to 6, and here we need to have so const. So we need to have const colors, then set colors like this, which is going to be used states like that. Is going to be empty array by default, because don't forget it's going to be all the colors based on this level. So since we have 6, it's going to generate 6 colors, but right now it doesn't know the number of colors to generate. I'm going to replace this in later on. So what we just need to do here is that anytime you call this generate colors, what it's just going to do there is that you need to give it the number of colors you want. So here I need to give it the count. So based on the count, it's going to generate whatever colors you want for you. So what do we want to do? We still need to do the same thing here too. So we need to use this our new array. Then based on this one now we're going to be count. For example, here now assuming count is 6, then from there we fill everything with 0, then we map through it and we generate random color. That's what we want to do there like that. So this one is going to return. So what it's going to do is return new array like this. Then we pass the number of colors we want to generate. We fill everything with 0 so that we can have what we want. Then we map through everything. After we map through it, what do we want to do? What we just want to do here is to call this our so return generate random RGB colors. So it's going to call this. So what are we doing here? What we are doing, we have this generate random number which gives us the random number. So this function generate random RGB color is using it to generate the value for red, green and blue. And based on that we construct this one. Anytime you call this one, it will only give you one color at a time. But we need to generate this color multiple times based on the level. And that's what we are receiving here. Or I can just pass this in at level here, but I'm passing count there like that. So anytime you call this generate colors, what it will do is that based on the count you pass to it, it will generate an array for you, fill it with 0 so that we can iterate it. Then after we iterate it, it's now returning this generate RGB. So for each one of them, it's going to call this generate. So now what I can just do, because when the game first starts, we need to generate some random color first, and I'm going to pass this our game level like this. So when this thing is starting for the first time, it is going to give it some default values, just like the way you give default value here. But the default value is based on what is coming from here, so it can generate some random colors for us like that. And I'm receiving error coming out because something is going on there. So what is going on? Let me go. So cannot access generate. Yeah, because I'm trying to use this thing down here, but it's being used at the top here. So in order for this thing to work, for now, what I just need to do is to move this thing down here, because what is going on is that I'm using this, I'm defining it here, but I'm using it at the top. It will not allow me to do it like that. So I need to move it down, as you can see. So the definition is here, so I need to move it down here because I don't want to repeat myself for this stuff. But another thing we can do later on, and that's the reason why we are going to be talking about how we can create our own custom hook later on. All this in here, they are not needed in this file. We can put it in their own separate hooks that we can now use before the line here. But for now, I will just do it in this way. So this function will be at the top because I'll be able to use it down. Because the function you want to use, you have to define it first before you can start using it. And that's what is going on here. And now, for example, now what we can just do is to console log out the colors, and you see that it's going to generate some colors for us out of the box like that. So can you see? So anytime we run this our game, anytime we run the game, you see that the first time is going to generate the colors based on the level that we have. So assuming the level, for example, if I come here now, the level is 12 like that, and let me reload once it's saved. So let me reload again. You see that the first time, can you see, it will generate 12 colors like that. So it's going to generate 12 colors. Let me clear all this in that I don't need, that is coming out like this. So clear like this. So clear. So now if I reload it, you see that it will generate the 12 colors. So that's the reason why you see I'm passing this one here. So let me expand it. I'm passing this one here like that. So based on the level we set at the top, it's going to generate a new colors for us. And again too, anytime we are changing our level, we need to call this our set colors again. So anytime we change level, we need to call this one by just calling this generate colors, then we pass the new level. So anytime we change the level, we set the game level, because right now if you look at it, if I change it from 3 to 1, the color is not changing. As you can see, it's still showing 12, whereas we've already changed it, and that's why we need to do it on this line too. This one is for the first time when the game first load like that, and this one is when we change the level. So now let me reload everything. So by default it's going to be 12. Now if I change it to level 1, as you can see, it has regenerated. By default, before, as you can see, the first item is 25 whatever stuff, but now it has generated a new set of color. So if I go to level 2, it will regenerate a new set of color based on the level, and so forth like that. And again too, the button needs to be re-rendered and changed to whatever we have there like that, and we need to reset the game. But for now, I'm not going to be doing that. It's going to be next class there like that. What we just need to do here, for the color box, we need to pass all our colors here like that. So once I pass the colors, again, I don't need to be passing this level, because the reason I was using level before is for me to be able to render all the buttons so that you can see. But now that we already have our color, we don't need to be passing the level. We just need to pass the colors into it, and that color is what we need here. The color is what we need here, so we don't need the level. Again, we don't need all this one. The buttons is not going to be this again. Is going to now be colors like this, because the color is array on its own. Again, I'm going to receive the colors from here. Something is wrong. I've deleted what I'm not supposed to delete like that. So let me put the bracket back there. So let me save it. And again, if the colors are like that, so the colors like this dot length, so we need to use the length like that, because we've changed what is here. Or if you still want to receive the game level, so instead of us relating the game level like that, so let me just pass it so that we can use it for that place, but we don't really need it here, but we can actually use it to determine whether we need to do this thing. So instead of me just doing the length myself like this, so instead of doing length like this, let's just receive the game level too. So let me return it back to the way it is. So game level like that, so we can use it to determine this. But if I don't want to use it, I can just use the length, because it's going to be the same game. Whatever you have here is what is going to be the length. So if the game level is 2, which is 6, as you can see, the array is going to be 9. If it's level 1, then the array is going to be 6. So I can just get the length directly. But let's just receive the game length and just do it like this instead of receiving the stuff. So what we need to do here, so each one of this one and each one of the color now, we don't need to be doing this in again. So we know we are going to receive color, so we don't need to be using that. What we can just do is to receive our color. So each one of them, again, I can use it for the index, because the thing will be changed at random. But there's a problem with this too. There might be some time this thing will generate the same color, so this one might actually clash like that. So what I can just do is to receive the index too and add the two of them together. So the color plus index, so even if it's the same thing, we know that the index will never be the same, but sometimes it still can clash. And what do we need to do? This our color button, we need to send down the color to it, and based on the color you have there, is going to do some stuff like that. So let me just save everything. For now, we are not going to see anything different on the page yet, because we are not setting the color like that. But this thing is going to change now once we go into this our color button. So we receive the color, so we are going to receive the color like this. So once we receive the color like this, so on this place, what we just need to do is to set our style. So now what do we need to do? We need to set a background like this, which is going to be whatever color that is being passed. So whatever color that is being passed, we can set it on the style in this way. So now, as you can see, whatever color that is being passed will now be set on the button. So if I change it to level 2, it will regenerate the color again, because we are regenerating everything again. If I go to level 3, it will set it. If I go to level 4, it will change it like that. But this thing is having border around it, so I don't want that border around my buttons. So let me go back into the buttons and let me remove that. So border like this is going to be none, so I don't want any border around my buttons. So once this thing is saved, now there's no border around any of the buttons. So now it's going to generate the colors. Go to level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 like that. So, and as you can see, no, this one is not changed yet. So what we need to do now is anytime this color change, so anytime this color change, out of this color we need to pick the one for the computer at random. So here comes computer color here. So computer color is going to be, we need to pick a random color here. And how do we pick random color? We still use the same thing we are used to already. What we just need to do here is to do colors like this. Then we need to do math dot random like this. Not random yet. So we need to do math dot floor because we don't want to pick anything. Then inside this place we need to do math dot random, then multiply by whatever the color length like, or game level. So multiply by the game level like this. So whatever the game level here, we multiply by this random number. So if it is 6, it will pick a random number between this one. So as you can see, 0 all the way to 5. So since it's 6, it will pick a random number here, and that random number is what is going to pick as the computer color from there like that. Again, if it is 9, it will do it again, and that's why it is down here. It's not state, so it's depending on color. So anytime this color change, it will regenerate a new value for us there. But this can cause problem. This can cause problem the way it is right now. So we'll come back to it in the next class there. But before we get to next class, let me just send it down into where it's going to be used. So let me send it down to where it's going to be used. And now we just need to receive it inside this place like that. So instead of us displaying what is here, so I'm going to remove it like that, then replace it with this computer like that. But there's going to be some issue with this thing. But for now, let me just save it and we'll come back to it in the next class because I need to go in few minutes. So let me save. Can you see now? So it's going to give us this color. So if I change it to another, as you can see, it will pick another one. So if I change it, it will pick another one out of this list. One of the color here is what is there. So it's now left for the user to click the one that matches this color, which is what we're going to be doing in the next class. But I don't like the way it is small letter like that. So I'll go into the CSS, that our H2. I'm going to do the text transform like this. So which is going to be uppercase. So no matter what is there, it's always going to make sure that it's in capital letter like this. So if I go to level 5 again, out of this color, it has already picked one of them. So it's now left for you to pick the one that matches the color. So later on in our next class, we need to add event to this button. So anytime it is clicked, it will send back to this app that one button has clicked. Then it's now left for us to check whatever the user click on, whether it matches this one or not. If it matches, we bring out a message to them that yeah, they get the stuff. And if it is not match, then we tell them that something is wrong like that. So where am I doing the console log? I thought I stopped the console log. So now by default, why is it level 3? Let's take back to level 1. So instead of this, it's going to be 6 like that. This thing that I'm calling level is supposed to be count like that. So let me change it. So this one, well, I'll be changing in next class because it's not making sense that this is count and we're saying level like that. So level is just like 1, 2, 3 all the way to 4, but the actual value is over. So now here level 1. So if we go to level 2, color will change. Level 3, level 4, level 2, and so forth like that. It will always change. The next class now, we need to make sure that the user should be able to click any of this button, and once they click, we check. And once we cross check, some stuff are going to pop out. For example, here, let me just go online and just search for the so we're going to be using this thing later on. So congratulations, GIF like this. So GIF like that. Let me see, not this. I want something that is going to just come. So anytime they win the game, this thing is going to come from the top and just wave like that. Let me see where I'm going to find it down against next class like that. So it's just going to be let me see, is this one? Let me see this one. So again, it is going to be so it's going to pop up, but I don't want the one that have background. So it's just once you get it, it will pop up. This is what I'm looking for. This thing that is splashing here, So it's going to pop up like that, and after that it will be removed once it's done. So how do you do that? All those one are going to come in the next class there, like that. So this is where I'm going to be stopping. This is 1 hour 30 minutes already, so I'll be stopping this and I will continue from there in the next class.